Hello viewers and welcome to the latest episode of The Huddle. Tim Pool here, editor of Gambling Insider, and I'm going to be speaking with Ivan Rozić, head of sales at OddsMatrix as part of EveryMatrix, and he's going to be discussing going live with ArenaCasino in Croatia, as well as a wider discussion of Omnichannel, the differences between retail and online offerings. Can you tell us a bit about your background and your role within the wider EveryMatrix organization?
All right. As you already pointed out, I'm head of sales for OddsMatrix, which is our sportsbook division, our business unit here at EveryMatrix. I've been with the company for, it's going to be 4 years soon. Before that, I had about 4.5, 5 years of industry experience within iGaming. And before that, I was in software development companies in different sectors. So throughout the whole of my career, I was dealing with how to deliver projects, software projects to big clients. Within iGaming, I was always on the provider side of things, which it helps me because I'm an avid player myself, so I know the player perspective, I know the provider perspective, and I like to think that having all of these conversations with operators out there, perhaps I already have a good insight on the operator perspective on things and topics and hurdles we are facing in industries.
Recently, you went live with ArenaCasino in Croatia, which is a big, as I say, omni-channel deal for you guys. Can you tell us all about it?
So we went live late November, so like 20 days ago. And it's been a project that we've been working on hard for a good period of time. And I gotta say, like, it's a great achievement because every omni-channel project is a beast of its own kind. And I have to take my hat off and say kudos to all of the teams in EveryMatrix that were involved. And trust me, pretty much every single team was touched with some sort of task with this. But also to our partners and colleagues in ArenaCasino, where they did an excellent job putting up with us and helping us and basically trying to make what we delivered the best there is. And look, for us, like when it comes to ArenaCasino, first thing I got to point out, Croatia has been a regulated market for a long time, a market where if you want to have an online sportsbook, you need to have a retail. So the regulatory requirement is that you have 50 shops, I believe, in order to get a license for the online. Plus, it's a closed off environment. So Arena was the last B2C that received a sportsbook license from the government. And they're up against some heavyweights out there. So you got Entain over there, you've got Fortuna, you've got Mozart Group. There's a lot of international competition that's active in the market in terms of sportsbook with millions, I can even say billions of euros of budgets and investment behind them. And they were they are still the last privately owned B2C in the country. So their forte and their USP was, okay, we know what's best for the players because we're the only ones that are truly local, which made it even more challenging for us, but even more exciting for us that we needed to utterly localize our offering and the product in order to play on those USPs that they have. So you got two kind of aspects, two approaches on how to handle the retail. You can find a company that's going to do the heavy lifting control of the devices that's out there in the shops, and then you just slap on your nice reactive mobile and an online view into the shops, or you can do it the proper way where you take control of the devices, like a full vertical integration of the system, which is what we did. We strongly believe that retail needs an overhaul. You've got companies out there, and you guys know, I mean, just walk into any UK shop out there, it seems like it's been done in the 80s, and they're in no hurry to kind of revamp that. But listen, retail is not going anywhere. The numbers might not be growing as hard as online is. In some of the markets, it might be even dropping down. But I think it's going to be a vital component for every operator out there for years to come. And we believe we can bring something else, because what we managed to bring in is all of our online suitcase of features, of bonusing, of everything that we have on the online is now available for the retail players as well. And I think, building on top of this has been great. Now seeing it in action is even better, but I think it's just a beginning of something extraordinary in the coming years from EveryMatrix.
From an EveryMatrix perspective, how does this specific deal, the ArenaCasino deal that you spoke of, how does it impact your presence in Europe? Because obviously, with the FSB acquisition, there's a lot in UK and Ireland. Obviously, you're in many markets. So how does it, impact that presence?
ArenaCasino is our first live partner in Croatia. There's many more markets that we're going to be opening up in Europe over 25 and 26, I'm sure. Some of them have already been there through UK and Ireland with FSB, but not only those two, there's plenty of countries in Africa that we opened up through that acquisition. But I think when it comes to Croatia in particular, it's a very progressive and very competitive market with just a couple of market leaders that are carving out most of the market share. And I think it's ripe for some competition out there, if you know what I mean. The number of sportsbook licenses is limited. So the amount of M&A that took place in Croatia has over the last like 5-6 years has been quite immense. But yeah, I think now with the feature set that we have for ArenaCasino and their know-how, they're planning to spread out in the next few years. Like now they're working on 160 locations in retail. They're planning to up that to 300, 400 over the course of the next few years. They want to chink out of the market share for sportsbook online as well. And now finally they can say to their players, yes, we have the biggest event coverage. Yes, we have the richest bonusing you've seen for the sportsbook. Yes, we have the biggest feature set that you've seen out of all the providers. So I think now they have the tools that they need to actually carve out a much bigger market share on the online sportsbook as well. So again, for us, regulated markets in Europe are going to be primarily focused. It's not an easy task. Like each country, each market is a challenge of its own. But we've shown more than enough times over the last 2 or 3 years that with Germany with Bet at Home, Hungary with Serencsejárték, the state national lottery, with ArenaCasino in Croatia, these are just some of the examples.
When it comes to omnichannel, some discussion at industry panels earlier this year, it was said that from a player experience, truly omnichannel offerings don't really exist. You've got very online products and very retail products, and it's difficult to kind of, for a supplier and operator to balance both. What can suppliers and certainly EveryMatrix, OddsMatrix in this case, what can you do to really enhance that and change that?
I mean, look, omnichannel has been a buzzword for as long as I've been in the industry.
Yeah.
The thing is, nobody can actually define it, if you know what I mean. Everybody has an opinion of their own about what it should stand for and how it should look like. If you want to do an omnichannel experience for the player, you have to look at the market itself, what kind of constraints it brings in from a technological setup, what kind of constraints it brings in from a regulatory standpoint, and then try to work from there. That should be your starting ground. Having a one solution fits all omni, it's impossible. It doesn't exist. I think even for the online, we've waved past the point where we can have a singular product offered everywhere. And I think Bet365 was great at that, expanding across the globe with whatever they have, and the penetration was great. Like their growth is something else. But then you have Kaizen Group, Betano, who's growing at a similar pace nowadays, but they are much more focused and localized to the markets that they're entering in. Whether they're regulated or just about to be regulated, it doesn't matter. They know they cannot show the same version of their product to everybody around the globe. So I think we're in an era that's going to be highly fragmented, and you have to look at each market as an individual if you want to actually reach those kind of players. So Croatia, luckily, is one of those regulations where it's a bit more easier. So I think the flow between retail and online is a bit smoother, if you want, and we've delivered like what we think is like authentically a true omni experience for the players. But there's so much things that you could be doing that go into that favor. So for instance, like I think we're the only ones right now in Croatian market that allow the players to log into the SSBT. You can use your online login to log into the SSBT. So then you have in parallel 2 balances, one for retail, one for online. You are able to deposit to your online account through the SSBT or over the counter. We offer the same bonuses and the same features in both. And talking about moving into the next level, so we try to conceptualize how the flow for the players look like, right? So if I go into a shop and I play a ticket, there's a decent chance I might not spend more time there. So I want to take the ticket, physical ticket, printed out with me. And what are the possibilities with that? So what we've done for Arena already is that if my pre-match ticket is a winning one, after a few hours, I don't have to go back to the shop to claim the winnings. I can simply scan the ticket and top up my online balance through my winning ticket. Or if I have a ticket and I see that I've got 4 of my 5 games correct and I don't feel very confident about the last match, I can scan with my application and cash out this ticket from the comfort of my home. I don't have to go to the shop to do that. So those are small things that look perhaps insignificant to somebody, but I can tell you for a fact they are not insignificant to the players using it.
Before we end looking ahead to kind of your offerings and a little bit more discussion about Omnichannel, want to look back a little bit and everything that you've just mentioned, and in fact this conversation we're having, EveryMatrix was known for years predominantly online, certainly huge online still, but as you say, now you have this retail focus, and in 2022 you acquired LeapBit, a retail provider. So can you walk us through the journey from that deal to going live with ArenaCasino and us having this conversation now and you telling us the detailed features of your retail offering when, back in the day, it wasn't such.
Yeah, exactly. No, look, I think from a higher perspective, from an outsider perspective, I think every M&A in this industry has, it kind of echoes what the decision was between build it or buy it dilemma. And I think this is kind of always the case. But I think what's not pointed out enough, in my opinion, is that you have to look at the people behind it who built that technology, right? So we managed to keep basically everybody from the LeapBit team within EveryMatrix, and those guys have between them 100 years of experience building retail applications, building retail systems for B2Cs and B2B companies alike. And I think this is the key ingredient, because in all of not only iGaming, but all of software development, kind of all the industries that are intertwined with it, I think human experience and human factor actually is the single biggest contributor to growth and success. That's why for FSB, I think in most of the interviews that we've done, it's like about FSB's footprint in certain markets and the clients that they were serving and how good that was for EveryMatrix to get into that specific market or with that specific client. But in my personal opinion, I think the people that our new colleagues that we have in FSB is something that is just far transcends any other value, because suddenly overnight you've got colleagues that have experience in a whole different field where you're blind, more or less. So now we're building a horse racing product. It's going to be cutting edge horse racing product, which nobody built in a very long time. And again, everybody from a B2B perspective is trying to solve that problem by just buying something and plug it in on. We are again going through that path of rolling up our sleeves and doing it the hard way, but we can do it because we have our colleagues who have the experience, right? Same happened with LeapBit, and we rely so much on their experience, not only from a software development point of view, but also from an operational point of view, because if you don't understand the operational obstacles and what the people running the operation are facing, there's a very good chance your software solution is going to just miss the target completely.
Looking ahead to 2025, final question for me, last but not least, it's an important one. You mentioned the resources you have at your disposal. We talked about the potential for enhancements, certainly in this area, but also, as you say, the regulatory considerations. So almost as a combination of everything we've discussed, what are you aiming for 2025 in the omnichannel area and perhaps beyond as well?
All right, so look, as we said, what we're looking for is to break into regulated markets and working with tier 1, tier 2 operators in those markets. The backside reason of having a capable retail product is because most of those markets actually, and most of those operators have the retail footprint as well. Across Europe, most of the operators that make the difference, that are the biggest brands out there, have their brand also present in the streets as well. So we knew that if we want to have a successful product that can actually put a dent into what that brand is doing, we need to have that sort of retail experience and retail robustness to provide alongside with the online. I'm sure that our brand recognition has been great when it comes to casino, like with the B2Cs that are using us, and the product that's there. It's just impossible to even talk about software solutions for a casino without having EveryMatrix in that conversation. We're getting there now when it comes to the sportsbook side as well. And I think the best perspective for us is that we can offer everything within one single company instead of making these forced marriages, if you want, like between software providers that actually get blended into a solution which doesn't work for the operator, it doesn't work for either of the software providers. It's in most of the cases just a temporary solution until they move into something else. And I think this is where we're looking for a chance to showcase what we could do. And we're going to be continuing expanding our portfolio throughout our product verticals. I mean, we just rolled out early payout feature, which Bet365 has been promoting for so long, like the newest kind of edge for against everybody else. Now we made sure that the partners who are partnering up with us have this possibility. We're going to be continuing building on top of that with our retail as well. But the first things first is we want to get our basics right. There's vast differences between the products, retail products in different markets. Let's say UK market and the retail presentation towards the players is much different than the one in Germany or the one in Central and Eastern Europe. Just seeing the front ends of the SSBTs tells you the whole story. You don't have to go in the background of it. So we need to make sure that we adjust ourselves to the market. This is one thing that we're planning to do. And then once we cover the basics, then we can go for the innovation, either from our toolkit that we already have, or in some of the projects, I'm sure, there are small USPs, small things that the operator wants to be doing to be better than the rest of the competition, to get known for this one thing, whether it's like an ability for their players to cash out from the comfort of their home if it's a winning bet slip or something else. We'll see, but we plan on building the basis and then building on top of it the innovation, which I think is the only way to go about it in most of these markets.
Well, Ivan, best of luck with all the aspirations for 2025. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoyed speaking with you.
Cheers. Thanks a lot, Tim.
Thank you. And to our viewers, as always, thanks for watching.